as opposed to killers grown in a petri dish? Hey everyone, welcome to Princess Gay. I'm your host Connie, and today we are here with my blind reaction to Natural Born Killers. This, as always, is a donation reward for Venom. So thank you, Venom. And this movie is one that I've heard of vaguely. I don't know who's in it. I don't know exactly what it's about. But I've heard this talked about in like positive circles. I think it's like a crime thriller, which would make sense given the title. And again, I mostly hear it talk about positive, but it's not usually like mentioned as a amazing, great, top tier film or anything. It's just like, oh yeah, people like this. Yeah. One of those kind of movies. The title, Natural Born Killers, makes me think that it's going to focus on people who are killers, whether like professionally or something like that. And they're going to be like really good at it. Because when you're referred to as being like natural born for any kind of job, skill, etc., it's usually in reference that like, oh, you were born for this. You're really fucking good at it. So that's kind of the vibe I'm getting from this. That it's going to be about like maybe hitmen or something like that, people who like kill professionally, and they're just really fucking good at it. Like really good at it. Or I could be entirely wrong. Maybe like the natural born killers are the bad guys and they're coming after the hero who has to escape them. Maybe it's military related. I don't fucking know. It could be a number of things. It's a vague enough title where it's like, oh, this gives me an idea of what it could be about. But it's vague enough to where it could be about something similar, but not exactly the same. So there's enough room to have ideas with. And like I said, I don't know who's in this at all. I don't know what actors are in this. I don't know otherwise what the plot could be about. So I'm going into this pretty blind, but like I said, I have heard people talk positively about this. It's been mentioned in positive circles with other well-received films, just never like top tier or anything. But I mean, I won't know what it's like until I watch it, because my opinions are my opinions, and they don't always align with the universal viewpoint. I can't say what I'm going to think of a movie before I watch it. Let's get to it. See what I think of Natural Born Killers. Cutting in here real quick to remind you of all the awesome content we have on the channel. Between Monday and Friday, we have a plethora of awesome series reactions with 2 on Wednesday. We also have movie reactions every Saturday and Sunday. I do pre-record them during the week, but I upload them on the weekend. And don't forget all the gaming content we have both on this channel and the secondary Princess of Gaming channel. We have Horizon Forbidden West every other day and Baldur's Gate 3 every single day on this channel, while we also have Nier Automata every Saturday on the other. And don't forget to click the link down in the description below to get to today's reaction. I redirected just due to copyright reasons. And finally, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and like the video if you want to see more awesome content such as this. Thank you so much for tuning in. Let's get on to the reaction. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. So apparently this movie is pretty controversial because of the graphicness of it, the violence and everything. Stuff like that, but also because it inspired real-life copycat killers who, I guess, didn't understand the kind of themes that this movie was kind of spreading about, like, how people glamorize these kinds of killers in the first place and how bad and just fucked up that is. It's like, you're kind of doing what the movie's warning against. But the fact that it did happen is also, you know, really fucked up in its own right. Also, while Quentin Tarantino wrote the original script for this, The finalized version that became this movie was heavily edited and revised by the other writers and stuff, to the point where it's not even really Tarantino's story anymore. He tried to publish his original version of it as a novel, like he's done with other movies he's made. And initially, the movie sued him for it because they claimed he like gave up his rights to do that when he sold them the movie. But he eventually did get it made, so apparently there is a book out there that details his original script, his original plans for this story. And he actually despises this film. Quentin Tarantino hates this film, hates what they've done to his story and all. And he's actually said, according to this, if you like my stuff, don't watch that movie. Listen, I like Tarantino stuff, and I watched this because it was a donation reward. It's not something I probably would have ever watched otherwise. And this was also apparently received a lot of censorship and stuff, and it was banned in Ireland and whatnot, and the Philippines. There's a lot of controversies with this film. But for me, beyond kind of all of that stuff, this movie was so stylistic that I feel it hurt the film. And I don't know if that's one of the big reasons Tarantino doesn't like it. But the movie goes so heavy in its style choices, in trying to like have it like be artistic and have all these like Dutch angles, black and white shots, all like these subliminal messages, subliminal kind of like flashbacks to the trauma that these characters endured and stuff, and to various things like that. The way this is directed, presented, I guess rewritten, and, shot, makes it near impossible, for me at least, to enjoy this as a movie. This movie has a lot of genuinely important messages and themes that really take a big look at our society and the way we do glamorize serial killers. This is still stuff that happens today. This movie, like, I think came out in the 90s. Let me see here. I didn't look up the actual dates here, but I have the Wikipedia page open. Yeah, 94. This came out in 94. But now, 30 years later, the themes of this movie still ring true. People still glamorize serial killers. That Netflix documentary, whatever that was, yeah, that proves this shit is still going on. It's horrific. The way we like almost give celebrity status to these kinds of evil, terrible people is insane. And like you see like certain parts of this through Robert Downey Jr.'s character's show and everything. You see him like interviewing people, and they're like, "Oh, we don't condone murder, but if I were a serial killer, I would be them." And it's like, the way you can tell it's very much meant to be taken as like so ridiculous and stupid that it's satire, it's parody. But at the same time, that's how people really are. It's so fucked up and sad. But again, with the way that this movie is shot and presented, and just everything with it, the stylization, it ruins the substance of it. And this movie isn't one of those that's all style, no substance. It has substance. It has a lot to say. But it's ruined by the way it's presented. It's so unenjoyable to watch. Like, I'm sitting there, like, half of the time, like, I either have, like, my hand in, or my head in my hand, or I'm, like rubbing on my temple and stuff, because I'm kind of getting a headache watching this. The way it's edited and cut together and stuff, it's like, it's genuinely giving me a headache. It's genuinely, like, making me feel, like, not unsettled, like, which might have been the intent, but it's more making me feel like I'm just, like, getting nauseous. And not in the way they would probably intend with a movie like with this subject material. And then it's like the flashbacks of when Mickey and Mallory met are like presented as like a sitcom with a laugh track with this father who's talking about raping his daughter. It's like, what? Again, I understand the glamorization of crime and serial killers and everything, but Jesus fuck. And then it's like, there's just a lot of moments, a lot of scenes and whatnot in this film that are just, I mean, hard to watch because of how it's edited, but also it's like, I've seen a lot of movies. I'm desensitized to a lot. But again, it's the way it's presented. It almost makes it not exactly like, not makes the like bad stuff feel worse or anything. The way it's presented just makes me sick because of how it's presented. It's like I'm feeling nauseous, I'm feeling like grossed out, but not because of the material in the film, but rather because of the way the film is edited. And it's like, that's kind of not the reaction you want. I couldn't even focus on the like material in the film being like horrifying or terrible or gross or whatnot, because I'm like getting a headache from the Dutch angles and the black and white and the flashing images and shit, and it's just like, oh my god. It's like, I don't know what the idea was there. Like, I've seen movies that have a very stylistic approach to them. I've seen a lot of movies that are trying to do something with their visuals, their editing, etc. And sometimes that can work. This is not one of those times. It's distracting. I was like doing my best to pay attention to everything. I probably missed a shit ton of like the actual context, content, etc., etc. Like there was like the mention of them both being sexually assaulted, but was there any even implication that Mickey was when he was a kid? Like there was implication that he was, you know, physically like beat by his father or whatnot, but I don't remember any. I don't remember seeing any implications that he was sexually assaulted like Mallory was. Hell, Mallory's weren't even implications. It was pretty direct. In fact, it pretty much states that her younger brother is also her child. And it's just like, I think she's supposed to probably be in her young 20s or something, maybe 18 or 19. She's pretty young. But it's like, her brother was like, what, 8? Maybe upwards of 10? No older than 10. Think about that. I don't want to think about that, but think about that. And it's like, again, this stuff is like, I'm trying to focus on the actual story and the characters and the lore and everything. But it's like, another example, the scene with the Native American man that they end up killing kind of on accident because of Mickey's nightmare and all. Watching this, I had no idea what the fuck was going on with that scene at all. I had no fucking clue. I had, why were they there in the first place? Why did they like go to him? Why were they eating dinner? Why did they suddenly like fall unconscious? Did he drug them? What was going on? I actually had to look that up after I finished the reaction. Apparently, he was just a nice guy. He was genuinely helping them. He didn't drug them or anything. But the reason he was like shaking that thing and everything, he was trying to perform an exorcism, which I did not get at all watching this because of how this was presented. Because I mean, I got the idea that he saw like evil in them and everything. I got that much, but I didn't notice that was supposed to be an exorcism, or what was going on just in general. I thought like he was some creepy weirdo who had drugged them and everything in the first place. Because of all the editing and camera work and this the way the scene is set up, it makes him look suspicious as fuck. Yet he's supposed to be an innocent victim of them. It's like that scene is not executed well if that's what it's trying to get across. And then at the end, when it's like the newscaster had the reaction after Robert Downey Jr.'s character's death and everything, I'm like, okay, what was that about? Was that, did they like see the footage afterwards? No, apparently she heard all of that through his earpiece. No clue that happened. Had no fucking idea. I didn't know what that was supposed to be. Because it's not clear. It's not clear. Because of the editing, the stylisticness of it, and just the way everything is presented overall. So much is not clear. There's probably, like I said, there's probably a shit ton I missed in this. And that I don't even know about from looking up the full film synopsis and stuff afterwards. The acting was good. I'll give it that. Like, all the actors did a good job. But that's, like, really the only thing I can praise about it. I can't even praise the music. The music was so, like, random. It's like none of the music fit any scene it was in. None of the music was, like a none of it worked in any way. Also, the ending thing while the credits had started rolling, yeah, that was them, like, I guess years later. They were still on the run. Mallory was pregnant. They already had a couple kids as it was. Somehow they've just escaped being caught that entire time. Sure. Um, this film is a disaster. It's it focuses so much on the style that everything else suffers because of it. The ideas are there, the concepts are there, and the funny thing is, with the fact that the original idea of this was written by Tarantino, Tarantino is a master of combining style and substance. Tarantino is known for his style. You ever watch Reservoir Dogs, Django Unchained, trying to think of things off the very top of my head like this. Never usually works well for me. Inglourious Bastards, etc. You think of Tarantino movies and you think of style. He has a very specific style. There's certain stylistic elements that are in all of his movies. At least all of the ones I've seen. And you can tell just from watching a single scene that it's a Tarantino film. You see all of his trademarks in there. Yet all of his films also have substance. They're all saying something. They all have, like, themes and messages that you can understand. And they're fun to watch, even if they're out of order. Even if they're not exactly, like, told in a conventional way. You can still understand them. You can still take in the content without being confused and thrown off and all. It feels like this is a not just a bastardization of the writing of Tarantino, but of the style. Oh, let's take Tarantino's style and Flanderize the shit out of it. Ramp it up to 11 and just be wacky as shit while like also telling this story that kind of has themes and a message still, but you know, is a shell of what it should be. And it's just like the funny thing is this came out in '94. Tarantino I don't think had a lot of movies out before then. Let me see if I can find out here. Quentin Tarantino. Yeah, because his name is on the Wikipedia article. I just go to his thing and check out his directed movies. Film career. No. I need to see like a filmography. Here we go. Film. Okay, so Reservoir Dogs came out before this, 2 years before this film. Pulp Fiction was in the same year. And it actually came out after this in theaters. It debuted at the Cannes Film Festival prior, but it came out in theaters after this. So there was only one Tarantino film prior to this movie, and that was Reservoir Dogs. And that's not even the most stylistic of his films. So that's ironic too. It's like it feels like it's a bastardization, a Flanderization of Tarantino's style without there having been a notable style at that time to bastardize. That's kind of really weird in and of itself. That's wild. But yeah, it definitely feels like that. And it's just, I don't know. I guess in the end, my just overall view on it is I didn't like it. Like, I saw the potential, I saw the idea, the themes, the messages, etc., what it was trying to say. And again, great acting performances. But because of the stylistic choices being so heavily distracting and taking away from all of the possibility of good in this, it ruins the film as an enjoyable piece of media for me. It's not fun to watch. Like I said, it gives me a headache. It's not entertaining in terms of its portrayal of things, and it's confusing with certain parts of it that I didn't understand until I looked it up after, and certain parts I honestly probably don't understand still. It's just not good. It's not good. It had potential. The potential was fucked over. It's not good. In my opinion, at least. If you like it, that's fine. Everyone's entitled to their opinion. Everyone's entitled to their viewpoint. I'm just sharing mine. Let me know in the comments below, what did you think of this film? Did you have as much trouble even watching it as I did? Let me know, and thank you as always so much for tuning in. Thank you to Venom for donating for this. For now, I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.